It's a beautiful moment of inquiry. And what I would like to share with us in this class, in this session, is the necessity of freedom. You see, freedom. You see, a people who are not free, all right, cannot explore the potentials within their own depth. There is always going to be a great limitation, okay, resulting from that mental limitation. If you take Africa, for example, Africa is a great continent. And if you go back a little bit, history, you realize that the hindrance that came upon, Africa in expressing their greatness came out from the European slave trade invasion that happened between 16th to 19th century, where we had about 10 to 12 millions of the African people exported to America, okay, which brought all kinds of distortion, beginning from political distortion, cultural distortion, economic distortion, where we had slaves, guns were exchanged for slaves. And all of that brought in fear and all kinds of social vices that the African people began to, battle with. I'm proud to this horrible experience in the African history. It has always been a place of prosperity, a place of communal coherence and peace and love. Now, when the invasion happened, you see, up until this day, the effect of that still continues, still lingers. It may not be a physical bondage right now, it's a mental bondage. So the distortion that came out from that invasion in the African landscape is mental distortion. And there is no other golden experience for the African people other than mental emancipation. Okay? And you see, religion also, which is part of the whole European invasion, let me put it like that. It's part of that which you and I must be liberated from. Okay? Because without mental emancipation, and you see, without that freedom, that inner freedom, without freedom, there is no way we can flourish in our greatness as the African people. You see, and beyond that, or let me see, in reaching that, we have to consider the units of change, the units of transformation that altogether bring about a corporate, liberation as far as a people are concerned. The unit must begin, or the unit is the individual that makes up the people. And so, mental emancipation must begin from you and I. You see, must begin from you and I. When we are changed, then the world is changed. When we are mentally liberated, then we can actually flourish. Then we can wake up to our inner greatness. And so, I'm bringing this so that you can have a deeper inner reflection. You see, you are always in a constant rush as if time is against you. But then let me tell you, part of the requirement for productivity and speed is stillness. And because of the society in which you find yourself that is always in haste, you may think you're wasting your time, but then being mindful in this very moment, in the time of stillness, is part of the whole productivity, is part of the whole advancement. People don't think anymore, you see. You don't think anymore. Politically, we don't think. We don't have thinkers. As far as this country is concerned, you see. Because if we really do have thinkers, reasonable people, the sufferings, the frustrations, the unnecessary circumstances that we have all been facing as far as this country is concerned, would have been greatly resisted. Not just talking about this period, but way before now. And so what we are going through is because we only have people who when they are fed, their stomach immediately take over, their cognitive ability. And so we are oppressed religiously, politically. And so you, as the individual person, you must see the necessity for inner freedom. It's not a choice. It's a necessity. Freedom, it's a necessity. Okay? And so you see, what usually happens is this. From the physical from the physical bondage, like that of the European invasion, right? From that physical bondage and sufferings and circumstances, it's snowballed into a mental, into a psychic distortion. And so the place where we need to experience freedom is our minds. It's our minds. And so I want to through this opportunity, all right, tell the African people and every other human beings although there may be circumstances, physical circumstances and sufferings that you may be faced with currently, but then never allow such suffering, circumstance, oppression to metamorphose into a mental condition. The reason why people are attached to religion and helpless is because there is a distortion, a condition that keeps them in fear. Hence, the attachment helplessly to religion. When we talk about suffering, one of the major tools used to bound the people, to enslave the people, we'll be having the presidential election, all right, coming forth this week, right? You see, there will still be some people who when they are giving, upon giving, giving them, let's say, a packet of sugar, of Indomie, they sell off their vote. You see, what has happened? Suffering has conditioned their minds that they no longer have the common sense to express their own power as citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They no longer have that. And that's why you see, I don't think that we have a real democratic system in Nigeria, where power indeed belongs to the people. Because the people are not in power. The people don't even have the mind to exercise their power. Why? The mind has been sold. It's been subject to hardship. And in turn, the hardship, the suffering, has conditioned their minds. Hence, they can't express the true nature of what it means to be a citizen in a democratic system. And so, freedom is a necessity if we must flourish, not just as a nation, but individually. Freedom. Freedom from religious structure. Yes, that's very important. Freedom from mental slavery. I will stop here, and I hope this meets you well. Thanks for listening.